Hello, keepers, and welcome to night number 5 of 5 nights at Halloween Horror Nights. Congratulations, you made it so far. The night's not over yet. Tonight we will be reviewing and critiquing all the scare zones and the haunted houses, what we thought of them, and the ranking we're going to give them. So follow along, share your rankings, all that fun stuff. So with all that being said, let's go. Mike the B, the music. So we are going to start off with the scare zones. This year there were 4 scare zones, and we're going to start with the very first, the entrance, the origins of horror. So the description is, discover the root of fear. Enter a decaying conservatory where artists carve tributes to Halloween Horror Nights. You'll encounter monstrous crows, gargoyles, and more. This has always been a controversy just because I know the past couple years, this really hasn't been a true scare zone. It's basically been the Halloween Horror Nights sign kind of welcoming you to the event, but that's kind of been it. This year, they did bring back more of the actual scare zone, bringing it into the Minion area. I did like what they did with the carving of the various IPs for this year through the conservatory. I honestly don't get a conservatory vibe from it at all. I understand, like, it's outside. You have props and stuff. The area isn't that big usually, but I don't know. Like, it also seemed very lacking with scare actors, at least for me. Like, I saw the gargoyles, I saw the crows. There's one chainsaw person, 2, something like that. There's not a whole lot going on in the scare zone as far as I'm concerned. I think it's really great if you want photos and, that sort of thing, and like a little welcome to the event. But as far as it like being like a scare zone, I don't know. It just felt like it was lacking a lot.
So here's what I wrote when I started thinking about the zones and the houses or whatever. And I said, this is what I said. I said, after going through all the houses, this scare zone makes a lot more sense to me. Because initially it was just like, it just kind of felt thrown together last minute. It didn't make any sense. I didn't read the description that Mike wrote or read for you from the website. I just wanted to experience the scare zones. Yeah, it just kind of felt like what is this? It doesn't make sense. And then after going through the houses, you're like, oh, okay, so that's the WWE nod. This is the Five Nights at Freddy's nod. That's what's that creepy clown one?
Terrifier.
The Terrifier. Like, just... It like, if you don't know, you're like doesn't make sense. But then once you go to the houses, you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. But even afterwards, though, yeah, it just kind of like meh.
So for me, I ranked this as number 4. I put this at the bottom of the list.
Same.
Like I said, it was just lacking. Like, it looked like it could have been probably a really good scare zone with the conservatory theme, and then with kind of the nod and welcoming to the event with all the kind of IP carvings and stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like they put that at the forefront, and then everything else is kind of like, okay, we'll put a few scare actors in there and call it a day. Okay. So it's number 4 for me.
Yep. Number 4.
Next up, we're going to talk about Masquerade Dance with Death. The description says, your first dance may be your last. You're invited to a masquerade ball where bloodthirsty vampires lurk behind ornate disguises. When their masks fall, you'll be their prey. I mean, I kind of like the scare zone this year. I normally don't really like the Hollywood one as much, but this one I kind of like. I don't know if it's the masquerade kind of ball theme, the nod to Phantom where the chandelier falls in the story of the Phantom of the Opera, and they have a big chandelier that has crashed down in the middle of the Hollywood section for the scare zone. I don't know, like, there's something about this scare zone this year that I like a little bit more. Like, I think maybe it's the costume or I don't know. Like, I enjoy the scare zone a lot.
Yeah, so this is what I kind of wrote initially. So there's 3 major scare zones this year, and in this man's opinion, one of the things I really appreciate about Halloween Horror Nights number 34 is they really went above and beyond with their makeup. Like, the makeup this year really looks like movie quality. It's not like, in previous years where they've thrown some, paint on a shirt, you got ketchup on your face, and there it is. So go out there and scare people. Like, the makeup is really, really good this year, and so with Masquerade Dance of Death, the Scare Zone feels very vampire to me. And it's a vampire masquerade, and so because the makeup is just so good, I think that's why I really like this Scare Zone this year. Like, I mean, I like all three of the Scare Zones that isn't the one we've already talked about, but like this, they like, one of the things that I think was kind of creepy, I think, for the scare actors is I'm like really staring at them because the makeup is just so good. So anyway, that's my take. Is like, just the makeup is top notch this year.
So for Masquerade, I put it at number 2.
So did I.
Look at that.
I know.
Birds of a feather. So yeah, so like I said, I actually do enjoy the Scare Zone a lot this year. I could actually sit on one of the benches and just watch, which we did actually one night. It's just done really well. Like, everything about it is just done really, really well.
Yep, 100%.
Next up is the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. Cat got your tongue? Travel a winding path to a mysterious home where trick-or-treaters are transformed into feral felines. Be careful or you'll be next. Well, this is over in the Central Park area of the park. This Scare Zone to me always has, I feel like it has an advantage just because there's a lot of trees over there. It's on kind of this windy, tight path. I feel like it's a lot easier for them to kind of create something in this area. I will say I'm very happy they brought the jack-o'-lanterns back into the trees, and it always looks amazing. Like, it just always looks amazing. Like, you have hundreds, maybe thousands of pumpkins. I don't even know how many there are, and they're just lining the trees, lit up at night. Like, it just, the visual alone of just that is always amazing. Also, what I enjoyed about this particular Scare Zone is that there is a story, the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane, but they put the story pages in the Scare Zone. Deep in a forest on Halloween night, the trick-or-treaters follow moonlight, the naughty children that dare to explore the old crooked lane along the forest floor. Cat eyes and pumpkins line the dim trail to the Cat Lady's house so withered and frail. The Cat Lady of Crooked Lane stands on her stoop, stirring her cauldron of special soup. She's not a witch, the children all say, as she pets her cats of orange, black, and gray. She lifts her ladle and offers a taste. They drink it all down, not a drop goes to waste. The potion sits in turning hands into claws, and long feline teeth protrude from their jaws. The children all scream as they become beasts, and now hunt their friends to add to the feast. The moral of the story, as it should be plain, never trust the Cat Lady of Old Crooked Lane. But if you take a minute and you read the story, like, you get a little bit more of the story. Not that you probably couldn't get the story walking through, but it's just one more element to the Scare Zone that just makes it really, really fun and really, really good.
It's interesting, almost like he was reading what I wrote here, because I said this Scare Zone has a major story through it. And while it starts in Central Park, it moves into the area in front of the theater with the live actors. It really feels like it might kind of be an 11th house, because in the area in front of the theater, like, there's like some little alcoves that you get to walk through, and there's scare actors that are scaring you there. We talked about one year that the tribute store really kind of is an unofficial 11th house, because there's always a theme there. And again, this year it's no different. The tribute store also has a theme, so it's the unofficial 11th house. But this one, I think, is kind of neck and neck with the tribute store, and it's kind of an 11th house. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I'm normally not a big fan of the Central Park Scare Zone area because it's always so dark. You really can't see what's going on. It's kind of boring. Except for the year that they had the pumpkins in the trees, which was amazing. And like Mike said, they brought the pumpkins back. I really like it. So, 10 out of 10 recommend going through this Scare Zone just to check it out.
All right, so the Cat Lady, I put her at number 1. She is number 1 on my list. Just amazing. Like, it's just amazing. Like, I don't think I mentioned, like, the scare actors as you start in the Scare Zone. They're kids, trick-or-treating kids, per the story. And as you go down through the Scare Zone, they turn into cats. Yep. Which is kind of the thing, this wonderful lady of Crooked Lane does. She's a witch. I know, she seems like a sweet lady at the end of the road in her house. She's a witch. And she turns these poor children into cats who have wandered, down this winding path to her house. But no, like the story, I don't know, the makeup, the costumes, the lighting, the props,
The thought that was put into the scare zone. It's the number one on my book in my list as well. So it looks like I think we're probably going to be spot on the money when it comes to the scare zones this year. But yeah, you check it out. You're not going to be disappointed.
So the final scare zone of the 4 scare zones this year is Mutations Toxic 20s. You'll radiate fear. In a 1920s neighborhood, a BuzzCon truck with radioactive cargo crashes into a mobster getaway car, sending the city into toxic pandemonium. So this is in the New York section of the park this year, and the past couple years they've actually done really, really good with this area. It's a huge area that they have to cover with props and scare actors and all kinds of things. To me, it's kind of a big undertaking. The past couple years, they've done a really good job at like filling the space, using the space wisely, and making it really feel like whatever the theme was. This year, I don't know. I'm half and half. Because part of me is like, okay, I get it. It's New York. It's 1920s. But part of me is also like, it was a little bit of a cop-out. Because it's already the New York section of the park. You already have the buildings and the streets and all that stuff. And so they put like a couple props in, like little stage shows and that sort of thing, with the scare actors that, do different things and play off of that. I don't know. Like, I just feel like they did so much more, like, the past couple years, and this year just not as much.
Like they ran out of money. Like that's the biggest thing. Like this year really kind of feels like they went so far out with some of the houses that we'll get to later. Like they ran out of money, and so like where they were able to skimp and scrape as they went, one less scare zone this year, and then like they went kind of cheap with this one because they're like, oh, it's already in New York, so let's just make it New York. And then the other thing too is like, I put this in my notes, so I didn't necessarily get the story. Like I said, I didn't read the scare zones like Mike does to get like the story of it before you walk through it. I like to just experience them, and I didn't feel like there was a story to this. It was just like, oh, look.
Right.
To be honest with you, it looked like it was 1920s, and Slimer from Ghostbusters had gone through and slimed everything and turned it into just like, zombies and brains. And like, I
get that. No, I mean, he's right. Like, I forgot to mention that as well. So before these events, I usually try to read up on things, so I have a little bit more information as far as like the storylines and the different themings that they're trying to go with as far as like scare zones and houses and whatnot. There really wasn't a whole lot of information they put out this year in the very beginning for any of this stuff. Usually they have a podcast. The podcast really didn't do anything this year. So, kind of left in the dark. He's right. Like when we first walked through, like, okay, it's called the Toxic 20s. I get it. Okay, there's going to be a toxic spill. Some mutation's going to happen. I could already like guess that part just from the name alone. But as far as like the whole storyline with like this bank robbery and all that stuff, I mean, the car is there. Like all that stuff is there. But unless you really sit back, look at it, and piece the whole thing together, you don't get that, like, just walking through it. Like, I didn't get that just walking through it until later when I finally read something. And then they actually did put a story on the podcast about that scare zone and a few other things. Like I said, it was very little information this year.
And we both put it in our number 3 spot.
Yes, it's number 3 out of the 4. So it's pretty technically low on the rating scale, but yeah, like number 3. Now it's time to rank the houses. So first we're going to talk about Galkin, Monsters of the North. Call forth a legion of terrors. In a remote northern village, a wicked being rises from the dead, bringing a horde of monsters and demons from the fjords to wreak havoc on the townspeople. try to escape the belly of the beast. So we only had one run through of Gulkin. It wasn't good. At least for me, it wasn't good. We kind of read the description of the story of the house. I don't know. Like, it just felt like, so I got, okay, there's going to be a witch, and then there was werewolves or wolves. I don't think there were wolves. Maybe there were. I don't remember. There were wolves for sure. And then it was like the witch was like, eating the wolves or attacking the wolves, and then I don't know. Like, all of a sudden, well, there was a Burning Man situation, burning bush. I don't know what it was. Then we were inside of the demon. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
That's what my notes say. I felt like this house really didn't have a flow or a story to it, or at least I didn't see it. And I think maybe sometimes that's because we're either pushed too fast or we're going too slow through a house. So some of the monsters that would come out and scare are either way in front of you, you can't see them very clearly, or they're behind you and you can't see it. So maybe the scare actors would have helped the story go better, but I didn't see it. It was a house.
It was a house.
It was a house.
It was something. All right, so my ranking for this house, it's last. It's number 10 for me. Like I said, we only went through it once, but I kind of feel like when you go through any of these houses, they are telling a story, and you should be able to get at least the gist of the story, even if you haven't read the description or whatever. And like I said, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't get it at all. It just felt like very random. A few random things were thrown together, and then some other random things were happening at the same time. And that's what I got from this house. So it's number 10 for me.
It's number 7 for me because I ranked 8, 9, and 10 for different reasons. So even though I didn't feel a story here, it was a house, sure, but you'll understand why it's in the number 7 spot for me.
All right, so next we're going to talk about El Artista, a Spanish haunting. Maestros del Arte y del Terror. Say that 5 times fast, but actually no Spanish. In 19th century Spain, a tortured artist moves to an isolated country manor to seek inspiration. Instead, the art comes alive and possesses him. You're about to be part of the permanent exhibition. This house, for me, was visually stunning. It was a very well done, beautiful house. As far as, like, I don't know, scares and stuff, like, they were okay, they weren't bad, but the story and the overall everything in this house was amazing for me.
The hype was 100% worth it. Artistically, this has been the best house as far as art-wise is concerned. A couple of years ago, we went through
The Dead Man's Pier.
The Dead Man's Pier, sorry. And the same artist that did Dead Man's Pier did this one, and you can tell that he cares about his art. Artistically, it was a phenomenal house. Scares really wasn't kind of there for me, like Mike said, but visually, this house was absolutely amazing.
So I ranked this house number 3 for me. Like I said, it was visually stunning. I really, really enjoyed this house. I've been through it a couple times now. I really, really just enjoy the look, feel, and story of this house.
And this was number 2 on mine.
All right, so the next house is Grave of Flesh, Your Dead Meat. Welcome to your funeral, where things are about to go from bad to worse. You'll enter your grave and then the underworld, where flesh eaters who feed on the dead will hunt you for all eternity. So, Allegedly. This was a love-hate one for me. Like, I really enjoyed when you first enter, you literally are like going into your grave. Because if you, I guess, get into the crypt, I guess it's like you're walking into the crypt, the side of a hill or something. But then you look up, and you're more than 6 feet. You're way more than 6 feet.
More than 6 feet.
But you look up, and you're in your grave. Like, and so I thought that part was actually amazing. The beginning of the story, to be like, you dead. Like, if you don't know what's going on, you know you are dead because you are in a grave. After that, I mean, it's pretty much a haunted house.
Just kind of fell flat,
Like, well, for me, Well, yeah, like for me, like I mean, you're dead, and the demons are coming out like to like eat you because I mean, I guess you're a fresh dead meat. Part of it was like, okay, it's a haunted house to be a haunted house.
Yeah. I have on here that, like, as soon as you first walk in, you have to look up because, like, visually, the way they made you at the bottom of the grave, like, it was amazing. And then, yeah, the rest of the house just kind of fell flat. Yeah, you're just dead. You're dead.
You're just dead.
You're just dead.
You're just dead.
Yeah, you're just dead.
That's
Like,
just dead.
You're done.
All right. So this was actually number 6 on my list as far as the
Look
rankings.
at you. It's number 6 on my list, too.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at there.
See? All right. Number 6. All right, next we're going to talk about the dolls. Let's Play Dead. Welcome to her toy box of terror. You're about to become doll size and witness the unnatural creations of a twisted little girl. You'll be haunted by burnt fashion dolls, toys she's melted together, and undead horrors in her dollhouse. I loved this house. This house was so much fun. So for me, every year there's at least one house that's like a fun house, and this house definitely fit that bill. So you're shrunk down to the size of a doll. These creations from this girl do come out, and they are just very, very interesting. There are some plastic smells in the house. There's the infamous red buttons that you can push and different things will happen. So that's also what I think makes it a fun house.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, so the last time I went through this house, Will was not with me. I did find an Easter egg, and so there's a room where there's like a giant kind of spider made out of like yarn or something, and there's like a bed under it. Well, the bedspread is actually Jack the Clown bedspread. So I did see that the last time I went through it. So I thought that was really neat. That's why I'm also like, when you go into these houses, if you can, try to look around because there's all kinds of hidden stuff, and you'll see stuff that you didn't see the first, second, third, fifth time you went through any of these houses. So that was fun. But I really enjoyed this house.
Yeah, so my notes on this one says, what's really cool about this house is that if you're the exact same size as the dolls, right? And if you don't like creepy dolls, you're gonna hate this house. Like if creepy dolls just weird you out, you're gonna this is gonna be like 10 out of 10. The worst house ever. I think it's a very well done house. That's like Mike was saying. When it comes to playing on the fear of people who don't like creepy dolls, yeah, you're gonna hate this one. The only problem I have, and Mike and I kind of talked about this offline, is that when you find out that there's the red buttons, all of a sudden your focus goes from experiencing the house to looking for the red buttons, and that's what I noticed with when I went through was the dolls were scary. It was a really well done house, but all I was looking for was buttons, and I found 2 of them, and I was like, oh, look, I found them, yay! And then was like completely oblivious to the rest of the house. Be careful going through because you're going to look for buttons, and it's fun to push them, and the guy behind you gets sprayed with water or something, but yeah.
This house for me, I put it for my number 1 because I just really loved this house. I went back and forth. There's a few other houses that I also enjoyed just as much as this house. I really enjoyed this house. I just love the playfulness of this house. I love the creativity of this house and the interactive elements of this house. It just really had everything I want in a haunted house. So yeah, it's my number 1.
I can see that. Yeah, like traditional haunted houses like this, definitely I could see it being up there as a number 1. This is actually my number 5 house. I know.
Jesus,
we're so diametrically opposed this year, but yeah, you'll see why when we get into my top 4 and we get into my bottom 3. So stay tuned.
All right, next up, the next house comes from the last version of Slaughter Cinema. So for those of you who are regulars to Halloween Horror Nights and you've been to, I believe it was last year when it was in the Slaughter Cinema house, is the Hatchet and Chains house, Demon Bounty Hunters. They're the outlaws from hell. In this old west town, all hell is breaking loose. Red hot lava demons are trying to possess everyone, melting everything in their path. Your only hope, Hatchet and Chains with their mystical weapons. I did enjoy this house. I'm just gonna say I did enjoy this house. I vaguely remember it from the Slaughter Cinema. I don't remember. So in this house, the demons, the lava demons, they actually glow, which I thought was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed that part. I don't remember them glowing in the Slaughter Cinema, but this year, like this house, I don't know, it's different. It's just different. It's a good original house because it takes like the Old West, the cowboys and stuff, and mixes it with these demons. And I don't think I've ever seen a story anywhere like that. I liked it for the original content, but I also just the whole concept and how this house came together. It was just really well done for me.
So my notes say Demon Bounty Hunters. Visually, this was really good house. Like, I mean, it was visually just right there. And like the visual effects and the storyline, I think, is what made it like just kind of concrete here. This was early in the season. I hadn't been through a whole bunch of houses at that time, but I actually ranked it at that time, and it actually ended up being, I said, this might actually have to be my number 3 house, and it is my number 3 house.
Okay. Well, I wasn't too far off. I ranked it as my number 4. So, and I think we've only been through it once.
Yeah,
once. I think, yeah. But it was just that really good. It was just that good. All right, now we're going to get into the IP houses for this season. The first one we're going to talk about is Fallout. The vaults can't save you now. Face your fears and post-apocalyptic LA. Escape from the vaults to the wasteland and confront the formidable bounty hunter, the Ghoul. We don't play the video game. This is a video game, but we did watch the TV show, and we found this. So we did watch the TV show before, coming here to the event and going through all this stuff.
Double check the tape.
There are scenes in this house from the TV show, and they're done pretty good. The issue I had with this house, and will probably echo this, but there were some parts that weren't lit very well. I feel like, I don't know, there could have been more. I got some recalls from the TV show, and I'm guessing this is based off of the TV show more than the video game. I didn't play the video game. I don't know much about the video game.
So what I put on mine is, I'm not a video game player, but if you've watched the TV series, this really follows the TV series. So there's no real critiques there. My critique comes into play is one of the main characters is the Ghoul. And I think you get to see the Ghoul in 3 different areas. And in the 3 different areas, it's so poorly lit. You don't get to see his features. You don't get to see his face. And if you play the video game or see the TV series, like, he's got a look to him, and you want to see that, and you just can't. It's so dark, you can barely tell it's the Ghoul. It's really dark where you can't see the power armor. You don't get to see the power armor that well, and in the area that is bright enough, it's a strobe flashing, and so as you're walking through and the strobe is flashing, you don't really get to see the details in the power armor. Like, there's a lot of detail that is there. You just couldn't see any detail here, and that's why it's in this position that it's in for my ranking. So what did you rank it as?
This actually is my number 9. This was my number 9 house.
This is my number 4 house.
Really?
Yeah, it's my number 4 house.
Wow.
Yeah.
All that talking, it's your number 4.
Yeah, it's my number 4.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
So next up on the IP list of houses is the Jason universe. Evil doesn't stay dead. The iconic horror villain Jason Voorhees is coming for you. Step inside his terrifying world, from his sinister shack in the woods to the summer camp where it all began. For those of you who are fans of the Jason franchise, you're gonna love this house because literally every Jason is in this house. Okay, so I think for the most part it was done very well. To basically pay homage to all the Jasons through the years, through all the different movies and whatever franchise stuff that he's appeared in, I think they did a good job. I think they did do a good job as far as that's concerned. I think it's a repeat of when they did the Halloween house with Michael Myers from, I don't remember what year it was, a couple years ago. It literally was a Michael Myers every probably 2.5 feet. like everywhere. That's what they did with the Jason house. We were walking, and I swear to God, it was like Jason, 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 and like, okay, it's scared. Okay, jump out scared. That's the thing, right? Well, when you get 600 scares in like the same room, it loses its effect, and it just gets boring. It gets annoying, and I know they were trying to get all the Jasons in there, and I get it. It was a little much for me.
And it's funny he says that because these are my notes right after I walked out of the house. I said, this house reminds me of the Halloween house. I counted no less than 22 Jasons in this house. Like every time you entered a room or another space, there was another Jason jumping out to scare you. It just became comical after a while. And all I was focused on was counting the Jasons instead of the actual scares themselves. So, I mean, and like, I get it. You're trying to pay homage to, you know, Jason through the years, but there was more to these movies than just Jason, right? Like,
no.
Like, can I get a lady screaming, like, in my face or something instead of, oh, look, it's another Jason. Oh, look, there's Jason number 16. Oh, here's Jason number 22. Like, come on, guys.
This ended up being my number 7 house. So, like I said, they did a good job, but there was just it was just too much.
It's number 9 for me. Like, I just like it. Like when it becomes comical and all you're doing is counting Jasons, because like after the third Jason, you're like, oh look, it's gonna be another Halloween house, or oh there's Jason, there's Michael, there's Jason, there's it's still number 9 for me.
All right, next we're gonna talk about Terrifier. The Terrifier isn't clowning around. Try your luck against Art the Clown in the Terrifier Funhouse. You'll witness his grotesque handiwork of torture and be exposed to the spatter of his victims. It's a whole new level of gore. I only saw the first Terrifier movie. This is not my favorite franchise. This is not my favorite horror movie or genre of horror. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Terrifier. I get it. Art the Clown, he's become a pop culture icon in the horror community along with the other ones. The whole thing it's just not for me. And this house is definitely a huge reflection of the Terrifier franchise. So it's gore and it's gore and it's gore and it's Art the Clown, you know, and so you would think there'd be like this kind of balance because he's a clown and he is a clown. He's insane, but he's a clown. So you would get the horror and like the gore, but you get a little bit of like the comic relief in there every now and then. But it's like, it's just, I don't know. The storylines are horrible. There's not really a storyline in the first one at all. I know he was in a short and that's what spawned the first movie and it just kind of went from there. But like, I can't say I enjoyed the house because it was just like, it was a lot of gore and gross and not really a reason for any of it. So yeah, that's me.
So my notes say, you know, I'm not a fan of gore for gore's sake. You know, Mike kind of likes some of those gory films, but I'm not a fan. I mean, I didn't even finish the first movie because it was just like no plot line. It was kill, kill, kill. And you know, we heard that the house follows the second and third movies, which we didn't see. And I think maybe that's because the first movie was such a just turn off to the whole thing. Like, yeah. So, but one of the things, I'm also not a big fan of like bodily function gross stuff either. And there's a section in the house that's like a bathroom scene, and it was just a turn off.
It was bad.
And so when you're not a fan of gore and you're just like, oh look, it's bloody guts and fake gore and yuck, and then you walk in and it smells like porta-john on a construction site that hasn't been cleaned out in a week.
Yeah, sitting in the sun.
Yeah, sitting in the sun. It's just like, it was just
gross.
Yeah, ick.
Just gross.
Yuck.
For no reason.
And that's why I scored this a 10. This one is my number 10 house. It's just yuck. Meh.
I think this one ended up being my number 8. Like, I think I already scored the other ones low, like really low. But yeah, this one probably should have been my number 10. But I think because, I don't know, I think the house itself was done, like as far as like artistry of a haunted house, was done well, but like the house itself was just, it wasn't good. For me, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna talk about the horrors of the Wyatt 6. Fear is the main event. Go head to head with the Wyatt 6 as they lure you through the ominous doorway to their shadowy realm. You're about to meet your match. So I have not watched wrestling in like years. I think the last time I actually was into wrestling, I think Sting was one of my favorites, if anybody remembers him from wrestling at all. Of course, there's like the Hulk Hogan era and all that stuff, but like anything after that, I really don't know a whole lot about. So when they announced this house this year, I was a little concerned because I was like, how are they going to turn wrestling into a haunted house? I'm sure they figured it out. I'm sure they had a storyline. I did not know all the stuff about Brett Wyatt, was that his name? I had no idea that he had done all these characters and had been like this creative with like all his stuff while he was involved in the WWE. So there was some documentaries that we ended up watching. I watched a few clips that ended up popping up on my YouTube and stuff. So got a better backstory what was going on. So this house, for me, then made sense. And I'm told that this house, so there's not a story to this house. It's an homage and a tribute to Wyatt and what he did in wrestling. And then, of course, they used, so his brother created the Wyatt 6 in homage to his brother. And so those are the main characters for this house, but it takes you through kind of all the things that he had created while he was wrestling and alive. So for me, knowing all that, I feel like this house was actually done really well, and it was a nice tribute to this person that was a big influence in the wrestling world.
Yeah, so like Mike, the last time I watched WWE, Roddy Piper was around. So like, I don't know how long ago that was, but you know, it definitely wasn't John Cena and The Rock. Mike and I watched the documentary about Wyatt, and it was such a well done documentary. Like I really kind of wish I was into WWE so I could have watched it during that time, because like to see the evolution of the character that he's made and then developed into, and just the mind of who this person is, you understand why it's entertainment and who these people are in a wrestling format to bring entertainment to the masses, and how beloved and loved he was. The house, on the other hand, I mean, it felt like an homage to WWE specifically, maybe because we don't know the characters, or I don't know the characters, so it felt like an homage to WWE, and I really didn't feel like there was a story behind it, like Mike said. If there was a story, maybe it would have been better, but it was like each room was, I guess, the mind of one of the 6 characters that his brother created afterwards. If you're a fan of WWE, you're going to absolutely love this house. I mean, I can tell you right now, like, I felt a little nostalgia of the, you know, the Roddy Piper days and Hulk Hogan, and I can almost hear woo with Ric Flair doing his thing, you know. But as far as this guy is concerned, I didn't see it, and maybe that's because I'm just not a WWE fan, or the documentary didn't tell us enough about who the guy was to really kind of get into the house. So
for me, this was number 5 on my list. Like I said, after watching everything I've seen on him and his legacy, like, this house really made sense to me, and so then I got it, and like, so then everything they did in this house as a tribute to him made sense, and I felt like it was actually done really well. The characters, the scare actors were done really well as well. So yeah, for me, it's number 5.
it was my number 8.
Oh,
Yeah.
way down there on the list. All right, so the last house we are critiquing is the Five Nights at Freddy's. Can you survive Five Nights at Freddy's? Get ready for the night watch at a creepy abandoned pizzeria where nothing is what it seems and possessed animatronics are lurking. Again, this was a video game, and I did find out that this is actually a book series, that the person who developed the video game got it from the book series. Hadn't read the books, don't play the game, did watch the movie. So, you know, I was a big fan of Chuck E. Cheese growing up. We went there all the time. So when this movie was advertised, I was like, oh my God, I've got to watch this movie. Like, who doesn't want to see like a creepy, you know, Chuck E. Cheese animatronic go rogue and like start killing people? So yeah, I was very excited when this movie had come out. Of course, learning it was a video game. It had this huge fan base already. The house itself, to me, is amazing. The Jim Henson Creature Shop that did the animatronics for the movie also did the animatronics in this house, and they are phenomenal. Like the entrance, the kind of opening scene, the pizzeria, there they are on the stage. It's just amazing. Like, it's visually it's amazing, and just technologically it's amazing. It's just really well done. And then even going through the house, the animatronics that we encounter through the house are done well. There's a bunch of little hidden details that kind of found out about later on. We've been through it twice,
Yeah.
I think twice. I love this house. I think they did such a good job. It matches the movie perfectly. I don't know about the video game, but the movie for sure.
So yeah, you know, I'm kind of with Mike on this one, where like I was a Showbiz Pizza and Chuck E. Cheese fan when we saw the Five Nights at Freddy movie. And then got to see this house. My God, like I really felt like I was going back in time. Yeah, but it's real. It's like you're there with an animatronic that's playing and talking and doing everything. And it was so well done. And I'm kind of happy with the fact that we get more than California does, because California normally gets everything, and we get like the scraps over here on the East Coast. And the fact that we got all three characters when you walk in, and California only gets one, just makes my heart smile. And I hate to say it, it's my number one house. I just absolutely loved it. Like everywhere you look, there's an animatronic, and like they did, like you can tell why some of the other areas are kind of low budget, or like they ran out of, because they spent all their money on this house, and it shows. And it is absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. You need to go see it. You need to do Five Nights at Freddy's, get you some pizza, get the cupcake over at the place. I'm just telling you, like, my absolute favorite house this year.
For me, I did rank this is my number 2, because Dolls was my number 1. But I don't know, like I said, I was fighting because this house is done so well. It's so amazing that I was really having a hard time picking which one was actually my number 1. I don't know, maybe they're both my number 1, because it is like, it's a really good house. For anybody who actually met me in the park this year, you got a coin. And so I did some research, because that's what I do. And so with Chuck E. Cheese, we used to get the tokens, and you know, to play the video games or the different games, you get the tickets and all that stuff. So I said there had to be, if they're trying to do this pizzeria situation from the 1980s, they gotta have tokens. There's got to be a token in there somewhere. So I did some research, and I found that there is a Faz token. And so the people that play the video game know more about this than I do. I don't know more than that. I know you can use it to buy things in the video game. I decided to make Faz token keychains to pass out. People do trades here at the park, and sometimes it's just because you're a fan and you're a good person, so you're gonna get a prize. So I made these Faz tokens, and I did not realize the crazy Five Nights at Freddy fans that went nuts for these tokens. So if you got a token, congratulations. If you didn't get a token, I don't sell them. I don't do anything. They're purely giveaway here at the park. You have to be in person. I don't do mail, so don't ask me. This house, amazing.
Message me. We'll talk. I'm just saying, you know, like you might have something I want.
All right, guys, well, that's it. That is the 5th and final night here at Halloween Horror Nights. We did the ranking of all the scare zones. We did the ranking of all the houses. Did you agree with this? Did you not agree with us? Did you even make it to the event this year? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for following along on these little adventures of mine. And as always, I am Mike the Bee. You never know where I'm going to be. I'm just going to be. You be too. I'll see you guys later. Bye.